Minecraft, The Island, Chapter 2. Panic Drowns Thought. Using my new power, I knocked out the 2 other leaf blocks on the rest of the trees. I not only came away with 2 more apples, but a critical discovery about my belt and pack. It happened right after the first apple, when I was boxing the leaves. Instead of dropping fruit, I got a small sapling. On strike again, I asked my frozen hand and dropped the mini tree into my belt. Seconds later, when I got a second one, I absentmindedly stuffed it into the same pouch. That's when I realized that they not only shrunk, but flattened and stacked themselves together like playing cards. Well, now, I said with a smile, this might actually be helpful. That turned out to be an understatement. By the time I finished stripping all the 3 trees, I managed to stack 12 compressed saplings in just one compartment. I might add, 0 weight. Looking over the additional pouches in my pack, I thought, I can carry a whole warehouse worth of stuff. Which mean, I said, scowling at the belt, my mood deflating like stacked saplings, till I find worth stuff carrying. You're as helpful as a wind-powered fan. There gotta be more apple trees, I thought, staring up at the cliff. Through panicked eyes, it initially looked like an impassable barrier. Now, calmer, confident, and well-fed, I could see that it was more like a steep slope than a sheer wall. Who knows what else is over there, I thought, hiking up the square dirt cubes. If I'd only thought clearing instead of being such a total dweeb, I couldn't have trapped myself in this side of the island in the first place. In fact, maybe it wasn't an island after all. Maybe this beach was the start of a whole continent. Don't get me wrong. I hadn't abandoned the notation of this being just a dream. But still, part of me couldn't be wishing to come out over a ranger station or a town or a giant city or... There wasn't. I stood on the even green summit and stared at the crushing disappointment at the rest of the uninhabited island. The land stretched out like a claw. 2 wooden pincers were nearly enclosing a round, shallow lagoon. I couldn't judge how large the island was. By that point, I still wasn't very good at measuring by blocks. But it couldn't have been too big because I could definitely see the end of it under the late afternoon sun. And the sinking orange square so wet my spirits as well. Just like in the water, just thought I was alone. And just like in water, I thought I was wrong. Moo. The sound made me jump. Whoa, I said, nervously looking all around. Who's there? Moo, came the sound again, pulling my eyes to the base of the hill. It was an animal, black and white, with a body as rectangular as its surroundings. I picked up my way down to the western slope, which was easier and more gradual as the treacherous eastern side, and walked right up to the fearless creature. Studying it more closely, I could see that it wasn't entirely black and white. Gray horns, pink inside the ears, and a pink shallow sac below the stomach. Gotta be a cow, I said, and the moo I got was the best sound I heard all day. You don't know how happy I am to see you, I sighed. Hey, it's just a dream and all, but it just feels so good not to be. The words stuck in my throat, stinging my nose and eyes. Alone. Bah, answered the cow. Wait, what? I asked, stepping closer. Are you like a lingual or... Bah, said the animal, but not the only one in front of me. I looked up, past the cow, towards the sound true owner, with rectangular jaw, but a little shorter, particularly all black. I almost missed it in the dim light of the early evening. Now as I approached the darkening woods, another animal, as white as the clouds above, stepped out of the behind its black twin. Despite their straight, flat outlines, I could see their barest details of woolly coats. You're a sheep, I smiled, and reached out to pet one. I wasn't thinking it. I didn't mean to punch. The animal yelped, flashed pinkish red, and took off running through the wood. Oh, sorry, I called after it. Sorry, little sheep. I felt so bad that I turned to its unfazed friend and babbled. I didn't mean it. Really. You still don't know how to use this body, you know. Cluck, 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 came an answer to my left. Two small birds, each about a block high, were pecking the nearby ground. They had short, skinny legs, plump bodies, covered with white feathers, and small heads ending in flat orange beaks. I'm not sure if you were chickens, I told them. You do kinda have duckish features. They glanced up at me for a second and clucked. But if you sound like chickens, I guess I'll call you chickens. Make more sense than chickaducks. The word made me a little chuckle, which quickly became a real guffaw. It felt good to laugh, to let out all the crazy tension of the day. That's when I heard a new sound. Go. It was a throat fell on me, gargle that sent chills up my spine. I looked all around, trying to figure out the source. Sound on this island seemed to be coming from every direction. I stood there listening, wishing the chickens would shut up. Then I smelled it, mold and rot, like a dead rat in an old stock. I didn't see the figure until it was only a dozen or so paces away. At first I thought it was another person dressed up like me, and I took an automatic step forward. Then, just instinctively, I stopped, backed away. Its clothes were ragged, filthy. Its flesh was mottled green. Its eyes, if you could call them eyes, it was nothing but lifeless black, points in flat, unmoving face. Memories flooded my mind. Images of creatures I known from stories, but had never seen in person. And now it was approaching with outstretched arms. This was a zombie. I tried to retreat, bumping against a tree. The zombie closed. I dodged. Rotten fist smashed into my chest, throwing me back. Pain shot through my body. I gasped. It lunged. I fled. Numb with fear, I sprinted for the hill. I wasn't thinking, wasn't planning. Terror drove my every step. Something cackled in darkness behind me, followed like a noise like whipped air. Something smacked into the tree in front of me, a feather-tipped, quivering stick. An arrow! Was a zombie armed? I hadn't noticed. I just kept running. Something red flashed into my right. A cluster of eyes followed by a clip hiss. I scampered up the slope of the hill. Glancing back, was I only at the summit? In the pale light of a rising square moon, I could see the zombie was coming. It was already the bottom of the slope, beginning to climb right after me. Throat closing in fright, I tore my way down to the eastern cliff. I slipped, fell to the bottom, and I heard a sickening crack. I hissed as bolts of agony stabbed through my ankle. Where to go? What to do? I should jump back to the ocean and try to swim away. I froze at the end of the blackened water. What if the squid was out there? What if it gotten hungry? Another moan echoed across the starry night. I turned to see the zombie's head poke over the top of the hill. Frantically, I looked for somewhere to go, somewhere to hide. My eyes flicked back and forth, settling on the single block of earth I dug out earlier in the day. From it came the spark of desperate idea. Digging! As the zombie started down the slope, I ran to the cliff below it. I furiously tore into the earth. 1, 2, 3, 4 punches away, and the first block in front of me came away. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the second popped free. I could hear the goal approaching, each groan growing louder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I cleared 4 earthen blocks right in front of me, 2 above and 2 below, just right enough to squeeze me into the space. Deeper, my mind screamed. Get deeper! And if fate could talk, it would not have sneered and said, You're not going anywhere. My fist bounded off something cold and hard. I hit solid rock. A few pointless punches told me I was trapped. The monster barely seconds away. I spun, saw the zombie, and get down the block of dirt between us. The goal reached over, smashing me into the chest. I flew back, hitting the stone cliff, chest aching, gasping for breath. I jammed the second soil cube on the first. Darkness fell. I was buried alive. My tongue shot out over the light. Zombie moans ran in my ears. What if it could dig? What if it could delay death by seconds? Go away, I shouted helplessly. Please, just leave me alone. Gagging growls answered. Please, I pleaded. Unfeeling, uncaring, unstoppable moans answered. Wake up, I whispered. I gotta wake up, wake up, wake up! In desperation, I started jumping up and down, hitting my head on the ceiling, trying to jolt myself awake. Wake up, wake up, wake up! I fell back against the stone wall, head throbbing, eyes burning, chest heaving in rapid, panicked sobs. Why? I whimpered. Why can't I wake up? And just then, the zombie barked a deep, violent growl. Because it's not a dream. No, the creature wasn't talking to me. I put words in its decayed mouth. I knew the words I needed to hear. This isn't a dream I imagined hearing from the mobile corpse. And it's not an injury or this is real place, a real world. You're going to accept that to survive. You're right, I said to the hole, knowing I was talking to myself, but still knowing how to talking to that dead guy was somehow sad. This isn't happening in my head. This isn't happening. The fragment of the half-remembered song floated through the fog of my arm. Something about finding yourself in a strange place. I couldn't remember all the lyrics, but one stuck clearly in my head. You may ask yourself, well, how did I get here? I don't know. I don't know how I got here. Another planet? Another dimension? I don't know. But I know there's no point of denying it anymore. With that acceptance came this huge wave of calm. And with the calm came a new mantra. Panic drowns thought, I told the zombie. So it's time to stop panicking and start figuring out how to survive. End of chapter 2.